Hey YouTube, and Caymanas back turf fights. Welcome back to Down the Stretch. This is tips for Saturday, March 8th, 2025 of a 9-race program at Caymanas Park. Let's get right into it. The first race, 4-year-olds and up, optional claiming 350 to 250,000, and 6-year-olds and up, non-winners of 4, 10 starters, they go 7 furlongs. Boiling this race down to 4. They are the 2, Last Dance, the 7, Lion of Icati, the 9, Drone Strike, and the 10, Zion Princess. Okay, Last Dance. Running fairly well of late. Last 3 races were very well. Was third by 6 lengths to Buzz Assault at 5.5 furlongs. Came back the 26th of January at 6.5 furlongs to only be beaten a half a length third to Drone Strike. And most recent run was the 23rd of February when finishing second by 3 lengths to Muscatoon at 6 furlongs. So not going to find any problems here going 7 furlongs, I don't think. And interestingly, Shane Ellis now has this ride. He's not on Drone Strike this time around. Busy at the exercise track. So if a horse is at this level at the exercise track, that means Last Dance is very sound. And equipment change, they've put on the cheek pieces, so let's see how the cheek pieces help the chances of this Last Dance. The 7, Lion of Icati. Lion of Icati is a horse that turns up when he feels like it. When he does turn up, he will run a very good race. He's a late running sort, doesn't really pack a lot of early pace, but when fit, will make his presence shown very early. His last good race, I could say, was at this distance, the 1st of January at this level, when finishing 4 lengths behind Drone Strike. He came back after that and had a horrible start, left way behind the field, turned for home 16 lengths, second to last, and ran on to only be beaten 6 lengths fourth to Drone Strike. So from a clean break here at this distance, Radish Roman once again has the ride. Lion of Icati, if he comes out of those gates fast, definitely going to give a good account of himself. The 9, the horse they have to beat, Drone Strike. Looking for a hat-trick of wins here. 7 furlong, when he went 7 furlongs back on January 1st, was an easy 4-length winner over Lion of Icati and 6th Avenue. Came back the 26th of January to start the pace and then run by to catch Muscatoon stealing home. The difference is Shane Ellis is not aboard this time around because he has been claimed by Stephen Todd on the last race. He gets a Demar Williams to claim 4 kilos off the top weight, so that should help him. But this Drone Strike is not an easy ride. This is a horse that you have to know how to pace him, because he will try to tear away if he jumps well. So let's see if young Demar Williams can throttle him back and rate him properly, and he will be the horse they have to beat. And the 10, Zion's Princess, Ray and Lewis for Gary Griffiths. Winner back on the 9th of February at this level at 7.5 furlongs very easily over So Magnificent. Came back at 7 furlongs on the 15th of February. Was early, then faded to 5th to Sensational Goal. His last start, the 23rd of February at 6 furlongs. Early again, then faded to finish 4th by 8 lengths to Muscatoon. Ray and Lewis now has the ride. He is at the exercise track. No, he's not at the exercise since that. So maybe he's swimming. He has been claimed since the last start. Does have some pace. That's the factor of this race. This race is kind of void of real speed. So if Zion Princess is allowed to get to that lead and gets to relax, could be a dangerous horse in the stretch. Outsider I kind of like in this race to watch out for. A very dangerous horse is a horse called Nothing But Trouble. O'Shane Nugent for Joseph Thomas. The money line says 99 to 1. If Zion Princess doesn't get to that lead, this is the horse that might jump in front. There's Nothing But Trouble. He's cantering and trotting, so I think he's sound. He raced the 11th of January, so I think he's fit. He was 4th by 7 lengths to Buzz Assault in that same race where Last Dance finished 3rd, and he was only a length off Last Dance with 126 pounds. So I don't know why he's getting 99 to 1 morning line here. So if there's any shake up in this race and a surprise happen, I'd look no further than Nothing But Trouble. The second race, 3-year-old maiden special weight, small field of 6. They go 5 furlongs round. Going to just boil it down to 2. They are the 1, Bowmore, and the 4, Rico. Bowmore, 3 starts, nothing on debut, but his next 2 starts on the 25th of January, going 5 furlongs straight, showed some speed, and then outsped by Unruly Mo in that event to finish third by 7¼ lengths. Was only a length behind Nephew in that race. Came back on the 23rd of February, over 6½ furlongs, showed speed again, right up to the top of the lane before Nephew and Gervano kicked clear, and he tied up in the stretch to finish 9 by 13 length. Those horses, I think, are very useful horses, and for him to be hooking up with horses of their caliber, definitely giving Bowmore a big shot here. They've now put on the tongue tie and the cheek pieces. Let's see if that helps it out with Dane Dawkins riding for Philip Lee. And the 4, Rico, Radish Roman for Jason DeCosta, 2 starts. Third on debut at 5½ furlongs to ride all day. Was early chasing that one before being outsped, finishing third by 7¼ lengths. Came back on the 8th of February at 5½ furlongs again. This time stalking and chasing home his useful looking and speedy stablemate American Aviator. Has worked well since. Recently worked 5½ furlongs in 1:07.3 by 1:01.3, beating Star Aviator at exercise. So I'm expecting a big run here from this Rico. 2 interesting horses to note in this event are the 3, Ralph's Treasure, Javanil Patterson for Gary Sobrati, owned by Success Farm. Very interestingly bred imported colt. He's out of Honest Mischief by Beliza. Honest Mischief is out of the world's top-rated sire, Into Mischief. So pretty good bloodline there for this Ralph's Treasure. And I want to say condolences to Success Farms, the James brothers, Trevor and Desmond James. Recently lost their father, Sir Ralph James. So I want to give condolences there to the family, James family. So this Ralph's Treasure looks like he's named after their father, Ralph James. Not too much at exercise, but looks useful. So I'm going to give him a look in here because he's a fresh foot, so you can't sleep on fresh foot. And the other first-time runner, also owned by Success Farms, is 1,000 Treasures. This one is out of 1,000 Words by Tabitha. 1,000 Words is out of Pioneer of the Nile, who's also a very good stallion. Tabitha is out of Taylor the Cat, who's out of Stormcat. So very well bred. This one is the better bred of the 2, and looks to be the most forward, working fairly well. It's Amelia McLean to claim 4 kilos. So very interesting to see how these 2 make their debut. But as I said, the horses they're going to have to beat are Bowmore and Rico. The third race, native bred 4-year-olds and up, now of 3, and imported 4-year-olds and up maiden. 7 starters, they go 9 furlongs and 25 yards. Boiling this down to 3, they are the 1, the General, the 3, Military Light, and the 4, Seaplane. Okay, the General has just been running into roadblock after roadblock. Ultra consistent in his last 5 starts, has 3 seconds and 2/3. Was third to Oil Machine at 8 furlongs back in December. Then came 9 furlongs and 25 yards, the 11th of January, and blown out of the water by Titan Tempo, beaten 13 lengths. Then next up was 7 furlongs, came running on third by 6 lengths to Shooting Star and Lucy in the Sky. Came back at a mile, ran up into Lucy in the Sky. Last time out at 7.5 furlongs, Lone Speed, She's Adorable, ran away from him. This time around, I don't think there's really much pace in this race. So the General might be able to sit a lot closer, because this is going to be a pretty slow-paced race. Gets Robert Halladine in the saddle now for Gary Sobrati. And the General looks like the horse they're going to have to beat. The 3, Military Light, Christopher Mamdine for Gary Griffiths. In my opinion, this is the closest thing to being a front runner in this race, because this is an out-and-out sprinter, in my opinion. I don't know if he has ever been this far. He has 10 starts. No, I don't think he has ever gone this far, but this is 9 furlongs and 25 yards. If he gets to that first turn with the lead and gets to settle down on that lead, this Military Light could be very, very dangerous on the headlines and could possibly slip them. The stamina is the only question mark. But 9:25, you know, if you sprint and you get to dictate the pace, you can save your run for the last half mile. So he might be able to slip it. And the other horse that I like is the 4 Seaplane. This one is also a late running sort. Running on, was way behind the general last time out. 9 furlongs and 25 yards. Might be more to him liking. Might be a little more closer to the pace here because it's not going to be the hottest pace around. So this Seaplane might sit close enough to the pace to be able to close fast in the stretch. Those are the 3 that I'm boiling this race down to. The 4th race, 3-year-old maiden special weight. 8 starters, they go 6 furlongs, and I'm boiling this race down to 3. They are the 1, I'm Outstanding, the 3, Don Quasey, and the 7, Brahma Bull. Okay, I'm Outstanding out of Conquest Cherry Mash by Wheels of Law. Wheels of Law is the sister to She's on Wheels. So I'm expecting this horse to have some kind of speed. It has speed bloodline. Ishmael Velasquez is for Ian Passad. Nothing much at exercise. The last were coming into the race on the 2nd of March, 49-2. That's pretty decent. So having the name alone, the owner names this horse I'm Outstanding. This horse must have shown something at exercise for this horse to get that name. So definitely using him in this race. The 3, Don Quasey. Sensational Slam out of Look at Me Now. Calvin Bailey claiming 4 kilos. Barrington Bernard. This horse looks pretty quick at exercise. Has a 24-1, a 35-3, 48-2. Last word coming to this was 4 furlongs straight in 47-4 by 102-3. So is showing some speed in at the exercise in the morning. So expecting a good showing here from this Don Quasey. And the horse I think they have to beat is the 7, Brahma Bull. Tevin Foster for Anthony Nunes made his debut on the 15th of February, going 5 furlongs round, coming from off the pace to be beaten only a length by Easy Bunny. Has been back at the exercise since that, has worked 5.5 in 108-4 on the 28th of February, beating stablemate Brampton Boy, who was 3rd, I think, on Wednesday. So that's saying good for this Brahma Bull, and he looks like the horse you're going to have to beat. The 5th race, this is 3-year-olds and up, optional claiming, 700 to 600,000. Native bred 6-year-olds and up, numbers of 4, and imported 6-year-olds and up, numbers of 3. 8 starters, they go 7.5 furlongs. Boiling this down to 4. They are the 1, Inspired Miracle, the 4, Storm, the 5, Wilson, and the 8, Shaboom. Okay, Inspired Miracle. Philip Parchment for Ray Phillips. Went through that last race out, came off a rest from November 16th to finish 8 by 13 lengths to power ranking at 6 furlongs. Inspired Miracle does his best running over 7 and 7.5 furlongs, so I'm going to throw that race out. Plus, he was coming off a break. But before that, at 750,000, was 5th by 2.5 lengths to Nakamura. And if you remember that race, I had it in my horses to interest. He was hindered 2 times in that race and was still running on to be beaten only 2.5 lengths. Shaboom was only a length and a half in front of him that day at 40-1. And Parchment still sticking to this ride here. Gets the distance that he likes from a clean start and not being impeded. I'm expecting a very good run from this Inspired Miracle. The 4, Storm, Samantha Fletcher for Ricardo Brown. Lackluster performance on last, the 1st of February at a million claimer to Green Gold Rush and Sir John. Was early, prominent for the first 3 furlongs before tying up. Much better than that run. I would think the last win by this horse was a million claimer back in September at 7 furlongs, beating Conundrum and Regal and Royal in 128 and 2. If that Storm turns up and display that kind of speed, might prove a very difficult horse to catch, so you can't leave Storm out. The 5, Wilson. Definitely one of the most consistent horses in this race is Wilson. If the right Wilson turns up at this level, which is, this is what, 700,000. This is basically 550, but they just added more money to the purse, to the claiming purse. If the right Wilson turns up here, going to be a danger to all. He's going to be the horse you're going to have to beat if he turns up. That's the thing. He hasn't been out since the 28th of December when he went 5.5 furlongs, winning by 3 3/4 lengths over Unruly Dude. Before that, back in May, 6 furlongs, he won by 19 lengths, beating High Diplomacy and Dodge This Link. The difference is 7 furlongs. In the 7 furlong region, that's where he tends to find it a little taxing. He prefers it the shorter sprints, but depending on how the pace sets up, and he's getting Demar Williams to claim 4 kilos off, this Wilson is very dangerous, even though not a horse that likes going past 6 furlongs. But you can't leave Wilson out of calculations. And the 8, Shiboom. This is a horse that turns up when she feels like, but she's running some consistent races in the past 10 starts. Her last 2, I kind of going to give her a pass on it. She went up to 1.2 million on the 7th of December at 7 furlongs, got annihilated, beaten 33 lengths by Milos, then came back down to 550 and was a no-show in the race with Veliki Viki. That race to me was a sus race, so I went through it out. If we look back to the 16th of November at 750, when she was second to Nakamura now and had Sir John behind, if that Shiboom turns up with Romaine Garden claiming 4 kilos, so she's coming here extremely light. If that Shiboom turns up, she's going to be fighting this out in the finish. An outsider to watch in the race, a horse I've been watching for quite some time now, I just don't know when he's going to pull the trigger, is the 6, Fault Line, O'Shane Nugent for Philip Lee. Beaten 38 lengths on last. That's on his seasonal debut in that race with the Tigre Express. Had no chance there. But before that was 6 by 6.5 lengths in the same Veliki Viki race. So I'm just watching this horse for the past few months. I'm busy at exercise, so I know he's sound. But it just depends on when this Fault Line turns up, and he can turn up at any time. So I'll definitely squeeze Fault Line in my exotic bets. The 6th race, native bred 5 wheels and up, numbers of 3, and imported 5 wheels and up, numbers of 2. A very competitive field of 12. They go 6.5 furlongs, and to me, this is a very interesting race. So I'm boiling it down to 5. There are the 2, Princess Aquila, the 4, Sky Rizzy, the 9, Princess Ifya, the 11, Grey Commander, and the 12, Always Right. Okay, Princess Aquila, Tyrese Anderson claiming 4 kilos for Anthony Nunes. Not running up to par since that good run back in November when finishing second to Here Comes Doc. Came back after that to finish third to Digital Light, and then some lackluster performances still. Still active at the exercise track. On the 15th of February, worked a good 102 and 4 by 48.2 with undisclosed location. Raced after that, going 5 furlongs run, and was 6 by 6.5 lengths to the upset Princess Rhea. Sky Rizzy was second that day. Coming in extremely light for this race, this Princess Aquila, 6.5 furlongs, I think is just about right for this Princess Aquila, and I'm definitely giving this one a shot to fight it out. The 4, Sky Rizzy, and paper looks like the horse they're going to have to beat. Javier Sybil, claiming 4 kilos here for Donovan Plummer, second and last by a length and a half. In that same with Princess Rhea. Before that was third by 4.25 lengths to Give Me the Light. And Princess Ifya. 6.5 furlongs. Shouldn't be a problem for this Sky Rizzy. That's where he got his last win when he beat Manouche and Propellant. 2 horses who have left this class. So Sky Rizzy looks like the horse they're all going to have to beat. The 9, Princess Ifya. Dane Dawkins for Errol Burke was 4th by 5 lengths in that same Princess Rhea race. Before that was second by a nose to Give Me the Light at 6 furlongs. So finding his her form now. Still cantering at exercise, so she is sound. Expecting another good run from this Princess Ifia. The 11, Grey Commander, Robert Halladine for Norman Smith. 8 by 7 lengths and last, the Lady Abimala, who has left this class, was supposed to run on 23rd of February but was injured and scratched. Does have some useful races last year. In May, was second by a length to Ella Fortunata. That one has gone backwards, that Ella Fortunata. Before that was a winner over Cosmic Force and Golden Syrup. So is capable of running a good race and freshened up, had his problems and freshened up for this race. I think this Grey Commander might put in a better than average performance this occasion. The 12, Always Right, TJ Suku, claiming 4 kilos for Michael Marlowe. He has a few live shots on the program. Was 4th by 17 lengths to out of class Propellant. And last, Captain Philip was in front of him that day, who's also present here. This Always Right, if gets the right kind of pace to start, will be one of those horses finishing pretty strong, or allowed to get close enough to the pace without it being too fast is always going to be a danger. Busy at the exercise track, cantering, trotting. Had a work back on the 9th of February when I'm strud 4 furlongs in 50 and 4. I don't know if that's correct. That's really a brilliant workout. So expecting a live performance here from this Always Right. So those are the 5. I think it's a very competitive race. Sky Rizzo looks the horse to beat. I like Princess Aquila. But as I said, very competitive race. The 7th race, the Anniversary Trophy. It's a 3-year-old stakes race, 6 starters, 5.5 furlongs. And this is a speed fest. Let's just go over the field and then see who I really like here. All right. The 1 is California Crown, Jordan Barrett for Jason DaCosta. 3rd and last, when coming up to Grade 1 company, was 7.5 lengths behind Barnaby and Atomica, going 7.5 furlongs. A little out of his reach, steps back down to a more comfortable distance, coming in extremely light as 102 pounds. California Crown showed and last that can compete at this level and especially at this light. Is one to watch. The 2, Bootylicious, has gone on from strength to strength, looking for her 4th consecutive win. She had back-to-back races here at this level. She beat Desert of Malibu and Pack Plays in the Chris Armand Memorial Trophy at 5.5 furlongs in a smart 105 and 4 with only 106 pounds. Came up in weight 15 pounds, went going over 5 furlongs straight, and held on from the late running Atlantic Convoy. Blue Vinyl was 3rd in that race. So has an extra 5 pounds more in her back. But this time she's going around the bend, so she might be able to relax a little more. Unlike the 5 straight where she had to go full tilt from the gates open. Working well coming into the race. And she worked 107 and 2 on the 23rd of February. Last work coming into this, she breezed 5 in 104, so very easy work coming into this. And it's Catch Me If You Can from this Bootylicious. The 3, Inspired Force, created a mile upset on last when coming from off the pace to win by 2.25 lengths over Banadora and Sensational Move at this distance. Coming in very light, extremely light, I think about 100 pounds. But he's going to have it all to do because this race is blessed with a lot of speed. So unless the pace horses completely comes to a walk, I don't know if Inspired Force is going to be capable of catching them even with this light impulse. But he does come from the stables of Philip Fiani, and that says something. The 4, Digital 1, Dane Dawkins for Gear Sobriety. Last time out in the Boxing Day Sprint, was an easy 8-length winner, beating Freedom Street and Alpha Love in a smart 119. Before that was second to Bootylicious when she started her win streak in the Ahufa Trophy. That race though, if you go back to my horses to watch, Digital 1 had a horrible start and was hindered when leaving the half-mile pole. So he got shuffled back badly in that race and came home flying, close to 6 lengths in the last furlong to be beaten into second. Now getting 11 pounds from this bootylicious. If a digital one gets a clean break and is close enough to the fractions, could pose a big threat to bootylicious this time around in this rematch. The 5 Laban, after had that very impressive win. Well, not an impressive win, but the time was impressive, but I think the track was just fast that day. Beat Joyce Golden and Mrs. Linders. Has it all to do here going around the bends against the likes of these, and even though coming with only a feather in his back, it's going to be a tall order for this Laban to get in front of these, even though working well. And the 6 Atlantic Convoy, 125 pounds, comes down 1 pound, so he's now 6 pounds in favor of getting the better of bootylicious. The weight advantage is in his favor, but this time they're not going over the straight, they're going around the bend, so he's going to have to work a little overtime to try to catch her this time around. But has the right jockey in his back to do it. Dick Cardenas, he knows how to get a horse going from early. Patrick Lynch also knows how to prepare his horses for a race. But if they allow bootylicious to get to that lead and relax in the half-mile turn, even with the big weight, she's going to prove a very tough nut to crack. So for this race, if I'm buying a pick 6, I think I'm probably going to use 3 horses in this race. I'm going to definitely use the 1 California Crown, the 2 bootylicious, and the 4 digital 1. So it's speed versus weight in my opinion. Let's see how it turns out. Very competitive race though. The 8th race, 3 wheels and up, overnight allowance. This is the International Women's Day Trophy. Field of 10, they go 9 furlongs and 25 yards. Boil this race down to 3. They are the 2 Money Miser, the 9 Further and Beyond, and the 10 Neostar. Okay, Money Miser. Amelia McLean claiming 4 kilos for Fitzroy Gillespie, coming in very light. Nothing in his recent starts, but has been facing some very tough animals. Back in September, he was second by a neck to Sistine Treasure at 7.5. Very next start in October, going a mile, was beaten only 2.5 lengths by Rainsville and Run Julie Run. Came back with a lackluster performance at 9 furlongs and 25 yards behind the Run Julie Run. Next start was 16 lengths off of Mamma Mia and Neostar. Then was put sprinting, 5.5, was 8 lengths 7th to Inspired Force. Last time out at a mile, finished 5th by 10 lengths to Tiztok. And watching that race, I think that race was really a warm-up for this one, I'm thinking. So I'm going to give Money Miser a shot to run a much more improved race, especially coming in this light. The 9, Further and Beyond. In my opinion, I think this is the best horse in the race. I think this is the horse they're going to have to beat. The thing with Further and Beyond, though, is that Further and Beyond is a horse that only has 1 run. And I think he has the perfect jockey to ride him. He has ridden him 1 time going 9.5 furlongs. That was in the Jamaica Cup when he was finished 4th to Atomica and Run Julie Run. Fun Candon was 3rd there. So that was not disgraced there when Mamdine rode him. All he has to do is cover him up, wrap him up, save him for the last 3 furlongs on the race, and you're going to get the best out of this Further and Beyond. But if you notice his races, he tends to want to, when the gates open, he wants to rush and go hard. So that means he's a very strong, he's a very hard horse to ride. So he's not really a boy's ride. So I think Mamdine is a good fit for this Further and Beyond. And as long as he saves him for the stretch run, I think Further and Beyond is going to be the horse that will be fighting it out at the finish. And the horse they're all going to have to catch is Neostar. Neostar, Shane Ellis for Anthony Nunes. Second and last to Mamma Mia. Before that at 9.5 and the Fan Appreciation Day Trophy. Ran up into the out-of-class Commandant at this distance. Was headed by Commandant very early, chasing him. Was outclassed in that event, had Banador 7.5 lengths behind there. Before that was a 56 length beaten in that same race in the Jamaica Cup by Atomica, Run Julie Run and Fun Can Done. Much better suited against these and getting this mile pace to control. Neostar definitely going to be the horse they're going to have to catch. So those are the three I like, but I think it's going to come down to a fight between Further and Beyond and Near Star, and Money Miles are running on for that trifecta. The ninth and final, native bred 4-year-olds and up, numbers of 3, and imported 4-year-olds and up, numbers of 2. Good feel at 12, they go 5.5 furlong, and this is what you call a dangerous race. Okay, boiling this race down to 4. They are the 1, Bold Move, the 4, Tiffany Blue, the 9, Hotbread Scammer, and the 10, King Crown. Okay, Bold Move, Radish Roman for Gary Sobrati. This is another horse by owned by Success Farm, the James brothers, who I gave up my condolences in the passing of their father, Sir Ralph. Bold Move, speedy sort, but just has not been running up to his early expectations. But I think most of these last few races since the year started is really, they're trying to get him into a groove. This Bold Move, they've taken back off the tongue tie now. Radish Roman is in the saddle, busy at the exercise track, and he is a speedy horse. So if the right Bold Move turns up, he's drawn perfect at the one draw. If he gets out of those gates fast and gets to that lead, and is 85% to the horse what I think he is, we're going to get a very good run here from this Bold Move. The 4, Tiffany Blue, Dick Cardenas for Gary Crawford, came from non-reserve 2 to non-reserve 4 in the last start, ran up into Fearless Force, was beaten 8.5 lengths, not disgrace. 5.5 furlongs, not a problem. Last time at this distance was beaten by Irish Wish, who recently won. Is a useful horse, very competitive horse, has a good form, busy at the exercise track. Dick Cardenas once again has the ride. Expecting another good run from this Tiffany Blue with her strong early pace. The 9, a horse that I really like in this race, Hotbread Scammer. This Hotbread Scammer not running up to par recently. His win when back in October at 5 furlong straight came from way off the pace to beat Indestructible and Irish Wish. That was a big run, I think. Came back after that when stepping up in class to non-reserve 4, over the straight 5 again, running into El Rapido, Commander Z and Midnight Flight, beating only 4.5 lengths. Then they stretched him out to 7 furlongs against way out of class Supremacy, was up early with the pace, gave way in the stretch, only beaten 7 lengths. Came back in December, beaten 9 by 14 lengths. That was his worst run out of all the races, going 6 furlongs. They freshened him up, came back the 23rd of February, 5 furlongs straight, wasn't embarrassed, 6 by 8 lengths, but he needed that run. He gets rich shakes here, claiming 4 kilos for Patrick Fung. Has been cantering coming into this race. I think he's very fit. I think this horse is an extremely dangerous horse in the event. Don't sleep on this Hotbread Scammer. And the 10, King's Crown, owned by Black Brothers, Robert Halladine for Stephen Todd. Was a 6 by 7.5 lengths and last in that same Fearless Force race. Was the leader up until the top of the lane and faded. They have now put on the blinkers on him, so they want him really sharp for this race. He has worked well. Last we're coming to this, the 4th of March, 5 furlongs straight in a minute flat by 47. So this King's Crown is coming to run. And from the outside draw, Hallidine's going to have to get him out and don't get him caught wide into that turn. So he's going to have to hook up in a bit of a speed duel early. But the way he's working, I think he's coming for a good run. But remember, the pace that's going to set up, it could be set up for a run-on horse, and I think the best run-on horse is going to be this Hotbread Scammer. But those are the 4 that I like. As I said, though, it's a very competitive race. Any number can play. But that's how I'm going to wrap it up. So good luck, guys, and as usual, be safe.